Another cast on? How many whips? Well, it's official. The diagnosis is in and I have cast-onitis. This is so many cast-ons. Like 4 projects I've casted on in the last 2 weeks. So I've had this cast-on frenzy, this fall cast-on frenzy. I don't think I can hold them all. I have a lot going on today, so buckle up. This is the most whips I've ever had at one time, and I'm okay with it. I have something known as cast-onitis, which I have had before, but not to this extent. Welcome back to Knitcheek. My name is Natalie and I am the cheek behind Knitcheek, and today is podcast episode 18, where I'm going to be updating you on my finished objects, my whips, and my future plans. It's been a while since I filmed one of these regular update podcast episodes, so let's talk about it. I've got 4 finished objects, 7 whips, which is the most whips I've ever had at one time. A lot of them are brand new cast-ons, and then I do have some plans for the future. I don't know about you, but the internet has told me summer is over and we're ready for fall, and it's making me ready for fall, and it's going to be 100 degrees tomorrow, so welcome to Southern California. Even the mountains are warm. I was in Big Bear yesterday, and we went on a little hike, and it was nice, but it was still probably 79 degrees up there. Actually, I don't remember, don't quote me on that, but it's warm. So I think actually we plan on going back up to the mountains tomorrow because the temperatures are supposed to be pretty high, and then after that, it's supposed to cool down a bit. But we'll see, because it is August in Southern California. Today I have 4 finished objects to share. My first finished object is my Harlow hat, and this was my very first brioche project. I did show this as a whip in my last podcast episode where I talked about how I did this for Andrea Mowry's weekend challenge, where everyone was trying to knit this in a weekend, which I did think was doable, but I cast on a size bigger than this and then realized it was too big, had also messed up my cast on stitches, so I ended up starting it over. It fits wonderfully. This is knit up in Farmer Daughters Fibers Pishkun and then Feederbrook Farms yarn as the contrasting, like, color changing yarn. This is the side that I wear it on. I don't really wear it on the other side, which has the blue color as like the main standout point, even though it is pretty. It's a little like, I don't know, it's a little like circus tenty to me. I don't know. I may try to wear it, but I like it the other way the most. And this pattern was my first ever brioche knit. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I definitely will knit more brioche. I will insert pictures of me wearing this because I don't want to put it on my head. Number one, because it's warm, and I don't want to mess up my hair. I don't have much else to say about this except for that I really enjoyed knitting it and that I will definitely be knitting more brioche in my life. I was really scared to knit brioche for a long time, and after knitting this, I can go ahead and tell you it's really not that big of a deal. I will definitely be knitting more of it. My next 2 projects, I do have a project vlog for of finishing these 2 whips, and I was trying to finish them for my sweater for summer call, and that's where I knit a sweater for summer. I knit the Eva cardigan, and this is a pattern by PetiteKnit. And the yarn is knit in Purl Soho Plein Air, which is some of my favorite yarn. This is the yarn that I used to knit up the Eva cardigan, and I bought 7 skeins of this, and I ended up only using 6, so I do have a whole extra skein. This is 67% wool and 33% organically grown cotton, and this is the color Blue Chambray. Some really exciting news for Knitcheek is I am now an affiliate with Purl Soho, so that means that if you shop through my link, I do receive a small commission. That is at no extra cost for you, so it's a great way for you to support the channel while buying yarn. So if you are thinking about trying out this yarn, Plein Air, or any other yarns from Purl Soho and you'd like to support the channel, you can do so by shopping through my link. Of course, this is not like me telling you to go buy things if you don't need them, but if you are already shopping at Purl Soho, or if you would like to try this yarn after I've been nonstop talking about how soft it is, then you can do so and also support the channel at the same time. This is honestly probably one of my favorite knits that I've ever made, and that is due to the combination of the yarn that I like so much, and the pattern is just so well designed. The fit of this is amazing. It's the longest cardigan I've ever knit. That's not true. It's the longest cardigan I've ever knit for myself, and it's just overall super well fitting, and I love the way that it feels and wears. I am so excited that I now have this in my wardrobe. Let me tell you some stats. Ava cardigan, I started on April 22nd and I finished on July 3rd. It took me 72 days to knit. I did make the size small and I knitted up in US size 6 needles. I used 6 skeins. The end product is 552 grams. The bust is 45 inches and the length is 23 inches. Although this is finished, it is technically becoming a whip again. I'm not counting this as my 7 whips that are going on though. This is its own thing. And that is because I am going to sew on some patch pockets, which I'm really, really excited about because I already feel like this is my favorite cardigan and I feel like the only thing that would make it better are some patch pockets. So I have 2 patch pockets. They're on top of each other because I blocked one and then blocked the other one on top of it to make sure they're the same size. But there are 2 here. I knit one during the movies. And on Instagram, I made like a little reel about how I knit at the movies, and the other one I just knit at home. But I knit up 2 patch pockets relatively quickly, and I was actually able to do this with the scrap yarn from the 6th skein instead of having to open up the 7th skein, which I don't know why I did that because I don't know what I'm going to do with that 7th skein. I will probably destash it. I was just thrilled to like squeeze a little bit extra. So like I said, this was 556 grams, 52, I forgot what I said, but was able to knit up 2 extra pockets as well. Now, it's been a while since I finished these patch pockets. I need to sew them onto the sweater, but I don't know how to do that. So I'm gonna have to scour the internet for some YouTube videos. And also I don't want to seam these on. I just like don't want to actually do the process of it. I want them on there. I just don't want to do it. I'm gonna put that off for a little while because I've got a lot going on, but eventually I'm gonna sew these on and this is going to be an even better sweater than it already is. All right, for project number 2, and I'm realizing now that the other 2 finished objects that I have are also with Purl Soho yarn, and I just wanna say that my affiliation with Purl Soho happened really organically, like I was already knitting with their yarn. I promise you these are my opinions, and in fact, one of the yarns I don't think I would knit with again, and I'll get to that in a second. My second project is my rib lace raglan, and this is by James & Watts, and I knit this in Purl Soho's Santolina Ice Pond. It's just a cotton, actually I don't know what's in it. I think there's like cotton and like some type of bamboo. I just got up to go get the yarn to see what's in it, and this is also Santolina, but I bought it from the Purl Soho warehouse sale, so it doesn't have the regular labels, so it's not telling me what's in this, so I still don't know. But how pretty is this? I don't think I'm gonna get around to knitting something with this year because I have shifted into fall, and this is like a summery spring, but I really, really love this color. It's like a butter yellow, which yes, I'm late to that trend, but we're still doing it. Purl Soho Santolina is 70% organic grown cotton, 20% bamboo, and 10% hemp. And it is a fingering weight yarn. It is a yarn that I find to be enjoyable to knit with, even though it is 100% plant-based. It has a little bit of elasticity to it, and it does not hurt my hands. I really enjoyed working with this. I think the only time I felt some hand pain was working these sleeves in the round. I feel like the yarn is a little bit like of a heavy fingering in my opinion. I do feel like it's a little bit heavier than, or maybe it's just not a light fingering. I feel like it's a little bit thicker than like the fingering weights that I have been using to knit like socks, or the next project is also a fingering weight and that yarn feels a lot lighter. But overall, I really do like this yarn as a plant-based yarn, and I really, really love this color, Ice Pond. This is the Rib Lace Raglan by James & Watts, and I knit a short sleeve version of this because I only ordered 2 skeins of this yarn, and I originally wanted to do long sleeve, and I was like, maybe I can do it. Well, I could not. I feel like is pretty obvious in hindsight. I should have bought the 3rd skein, but I didn't want to like order another one after I'd already finished it. And also, I knit this to be a size medium, and it came out the measurements of a size small. So it's a bit smaller than I anticipated. So I feel like the sleeves on this would make me wear it less because it's already not as loose as I wanted it to be. I do still think I'll get a lot of wear out of it. It's just kind of a different style than I was going for, but it's still a really, really great tee. The only thing that I don't love about the fit of it is that the pits are a little bit higher than I than I wanted them to be, but it's not like uncomfortable. I just really, really like a lot of positive ease and like loose fitting clothing, especially in the summer. You're gonna see photos of me wearing this and you're gonna be like, what are you talking about? That doesn't look tight. I'm not saying it's tight. I'm just saying I want more positive ease. And I do think I would knit this again. And I've actually thought about knitting for next year, like a long sleeve version of this in that yellow Santolina, but I'm not fully committed. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet, but I would revisit this pattern because I think it's really cute. And I wouldn't say it's a fast knit, but it was a fun knit. I enjoyed knitting it. I have like a smidge left of that second skein, but I definitely was not gonna get sleeves out of that. So let's go over some stats for the rib lace raglan. I cast this on May 2nd. I finished it June 29th. That took me 58 days to knit. I am a mess when it comes to swatching literally anything besides stockinette, and that is going to be a theme for today. So get ready for that. Like I said, this is a size medium, but the sizing is actually equal to a size small. I did use the suggested needle size of US 5, and the finished objects weighs 178 grams. So that is the rib lace raglan. I'm hot and I'm drinking hot tea, but at the time, it seemed like a good idea because I really wanted some hot tea. And this room has zero insulation and the sun is just beaming. So if you're like, oh man, she looks a little dewy today, you're damn right I do. A little sweaty. My next finished object is the Ripple Crop Top by Jessie May. And let me just say, this woman designs some really nice fitting patterns. I absolutely adore the way this fits. I love this. Give it to me in 12 colors, please. I want to knit so many more of these next summer. I'm over summer this year, but I want more of these in my wardrobe. I love it. I love the color. There's only one small little downside to this item, and that is that it's a little bit itchy. So you may be thinking, Natalie, that's a big downside, and that depends on your tolerance. I have worn this multiple times and I only find it to be itchy if it's warm, and it's a tee. So I intended to wear this during the summer, but I feel like this is going to be more of a transitional piece / fall piece, because if it is remotely warm and my sweat glands are remotely aware of their existence, this does get a bit itchy. If I'm inside and the AC's going, I'm fine. I've worn this multiple times and it's not like I need to give this away. Like, I can definitely wear this, but obviously I wanted to knit this so that I could wear it when it was warm. That is probably not gonna happen. This is like a summer evening, 75 degrees max tea for me. Okay, so let's get into some of this. This is a Purl Soho yarn, and it is the Purl Soho Sweetgrass, which is cotton alpaca. I had forgotten that I'm sensitive to alpaca because I've been knitting with so much woolly wools. I was like, oh, nothing's itchy, I'm invincible. But I actually knew that I was sensitive to alpaca because my mom has brought things home from Peru and I always thought they were itchy. However, when I felt this with my hands, it doesn't feel itchy at all to me. It's just when I'm wearing it and if I'm warm at all. So when I got it, I didn't even think about it really. Like, when I'm in a yarn store, okay, I turn into a feral animal and I rub up on all the yarn to test, right? But I didn't do that because I already purchased this and it came in the mail, so I never really thought about it. And I just knit the whole thing and I didn't realize that it was itchy until I tried it on right as it was finished. And let me tell you, I was like, oh no, I am not gonna be able to wear this. And that is because before I blocked it, it was like skin tight. And this would definitely bother me if it was skin tight. And I was like, oh my God, I just spent so much time knitting this and I'm not gonna be able to wear it. Then I blocked it, it became nice and loose. It fits perfectly. And now it really only itches like on the top of my shoulders where it's touching me. And like I said, only if it's warm. It does not have a lot of elasticity for a cotton yarn, not like the Santolina. The Santolina was easier to knit with than this was. So for me personally, I wouldn't knit with this yarn again, but I definitely would knit this pattern again. Some stats for the Ripple Crop Top. I cast this on April 30th. I finished it July 29th. That was a total of 91 days. I cast on a medium originally and then frogged it and then cast on for a small. So this is a size small. And this was knit up in US size 3 Chowgu needles. So that was my Ripple Crop Top by Jessie May. Let's move on to my 7 work in progresses. work in progresses. So my first work in progress today is the 1993 tee by Jessie May. And let me tell you how many times I want to say 1933 tee. And I think actually in my Ravelry projects, it's labeled as the 1933 tee. I doubt anybody in 1933 was wearing a little baby stripe tee. But that's what this is like. This is the 1933 tee to me. This is knit up in Katia Cashmere cotton. It is like 90% cotton and 10% cashmere. It is luxurious. It is mercerized cotton, which I feel like I try not to buy, but sometimes they're really good at like describing it in a way that I don't realize it's mercerized. Like it's called satinized cotton. And that's just a personal thing. I like to knit with things as naturally as possible, but they really satinized it because it's really soft. It's great. Like this yarn is amazing. Yeah, I striped this and you're wondering about the colors, and let me tell you I am too, because I ordered this yarn online from Lynn Hobby. I don't know. The colors were so different. I originally bought a brown color from Buku Yarns in Laverne during the LA yarn crawl because I was going to omit the red because the red was supposed to be like a beautiful burnt orange and it was not. But then I just decided to embrace the primary colors and I used all of the yarns to make this tee, and I am really enjoying it. I feel like it's fun, it's cool, I like it, it's got this retro feel to it, and I am just really enjoying it. And this is the first project where I have started timing my knits, and that was heavily inspired by Lovely Day Knits, Alicia over at Lovely Day Knits. She like times all of her knits with this Crochet Land app. It's a really weird, buggy app, but I've been using it to time my knits, and this is 26 hours of knitting. I'll let that sink in real quick. I love the idea of timing my knits because I want to be able to say like, oh, this is how long it takes me to knit a fingering tee, and like compare that to a sweater, like a DK weight sweater, and then like be able to say this takes as long because I feel like it does. But there's a lot of factors into this. Also, the stripes make this more time consuming. This is a beautifully written pattern and she is such a great designer. She really knows how to design patterns that fit well. But the pattern is written in a way that's like, hey, if you want to add stripes, here's a couple tips to add stripes. But it's not like the most beginner friendly. So if you've never knit stripes, there's a little bit of like a figuring it out thing that's in there. I've never knit something this striped before. And although I love it, it's a lot. It's a lot. And you do not want to see the inside of this thing. You do. Okay, let me show you. If someone would like to come weave in these ends, please let me know because I do not want to. I do not want to. Oh my God, I don't want to look at that. Let's turn it back inside out. Okay, so where I'm at with this project, I am 26 hours in. When I decided to knit this, you know, she ends the pattern on like the same color for the body, the sleeves, and the collar, which looks really, really cool. And I love that. I didn't know what color that would be like from the start to, it was just wherever. And actually, that's not true. I kind of picked the color because you can see it's blue and then it's blue again. Like I didn't go in order so that I could make the hem blue. Basically, I wanted the hem either to be light blue, blue, or yellow, and just based on the length, I ended up going with the blue color. It made the most sense, but I ran out of the blue color because that happened to be the top color, which I think looks really cool. I have this much left. So I don't have enough to finish this project. I have already ordered another ball of this yarn, but it's coming from Europe, so who knows? And yeah, I paid for shipping. And I just want to say, I wanted to knit this in the original Wandering Flock cotton lino, but it was pricey and you had to buy 100 gram skeins. But I feel like the amount of money I've spent on this yarn, and now I had to buy another ball of this, I probably could have just knit it in that yarn. I do that a lot. I try to save money and then end up spending more money than if I would have just done the original thing. Anyways, here we are. I'm at the point right now where I have knit the folded edges. So these are actually longer than they need to be. I need to fold these down and sew them down for the sleeve and the hem, but I don't want to. and the other yarn isn't here yet. So I've just kind of like put this a little bit to the side. I feel like if the other yarn gets here, I'll finish it and then sew down the hems. I'm really not looking forward to sewing those hems. I think I'm realizing that I don't really like to seam. That's not true. It's just one of those things that like I'll procrastinate doing because I think I don't want to do it, and then I do it and I'm like, it's not that bad. That's where I'm at with this. I'm a little procrastinating on the hems there. So that was my 1993 tee, and my next work in progress is my Raccoon socks. And I think I showed these in my last podcast episode. I have finished one sock and I am working on the second sock. These are probably the longest socks I've ever had on the needles. I am really struggling to finish these socks, and that is because of this really beautiful colorwork motif at the bottom where she has these raccoon, I don't know how to show this, these raccoon faces and raccoon feet. And it is so adorable. So the pattern is Raccoon Socks by Andrea Rangel, and the yarn is Gauge Dye Works 4-ply socks. And it's a self-striping yarn, and like part of the yarn is this gray yarn, and you cut it out and then you knit the socks with like one skein of, so this was all one skein. That's hard to understand, but when I got it, it was also hard to understand. I was confused. You get one skein of yarn and then you knit 2 socks from it, and the middle is like gray, and that's the one that you cut out to do your color work. When I started this, I flew through this sock until I got to the color work. This is my first time ever doing a forethought heel, which I did first because I wanted to make sure the color work was at the right spot. I've had to redo this color work 3 times because it's kind of hard to guess like where this chart will like fit, that it fits your foot. Like, cause I know how long my foot is, but I didn't know where to start the chart to make sure that that fit correctly. I also feel like I kind of want to rip it out and do it again because this is not my best color work. And I think that's just because of the nature of doing a chart like this where you have like these really massive floats on the back, and then you're also doing floats in between the DPNs, the double pointed needles, while you're doing the toe, or your 2 needles while you're doing the magic loop. It's pretty messy for color work for me. I usually do a better job than this. I didn't really enjoy knitting this color work either. It was a hard chart to do. I like doing color work in the cuff area because then you do it and you're done and you're rewarded with the whole sock. But this is like, I had to knit the whole sock to get to the hard part. And that has been what's really been slowing me down with the second sock. I am now to the point of where I have my little yarn in there for my forethought heel, and I am ready to do the color work, and I just don't want to. But this took me a night, like an evening, to finish this. So I know I just need to sit down for an evening and finish this color work. I just didn't know for the longest time if I wanted to redo this one. I think I'm not going to. I think I'm just going to do this one, and I'm just going to be okay with like the fact that this is not perfect because it's a sock and it's going to go in a shoe and it's a sock. It's a sock. It's fine. Yeah, these are not my favorite socks I've ever knit. They're really cute. I like them. I just mean the process of it has been kind of like a little bit not my favorite, especially because normally I zoom through socks. I feel like I'm being ultraly negative about these. These are really cute. If you like color work, if you're good at color work, you'll probably like these. I'm new to color work. I love doing color work, but I like doing color work with like small floats, which I think is pretty common. Like people like easy color work. This is not very easy for color work, in my opinion. Also, I am holding these in my favorite Delaque mesh bag for socks. This is the Oh Snap Delaque small, and it has like these side things that make it a little bit smaller, and I like to throw this in my purses, and I absolutely love this bag. Moving on to my next project, I have another James and Watts pattern. Yes, I love James. This is the Dappled Lace Raglan, and this is also knit up in Purl Soho Santolina. I actually originally bought the Sweetgrass to knit this project, and I had swatched for it, and it was a little bit too open. My mom actually purchased this yarn for me from Purl Soho back when she also knit a project in the Ice Pond Santolina color, and so she purchased this for me as well. And I decided, I have 3 skeins of this, so I decided I would knit the Dappled Lace Raglan by James and Watts, and I would make this one with long sleeves. So I'm super excited to have like this lacy top with long sleeves, and I'd like to prove myself wrong and say that I like raglans. We will see how this one fits. This was a swatching nightmare for me. I don't know what goes on with me in swatching, but so I swatched for this with the size 5 wood needles. My gauge was way too tight. So I then re-swatched with size 7 wood needles and got gauge. I ended up using my size 7 wood Licca needles for a different project. So I was like, whatever, I'll just use my size 7 Chalgu needles for this one. And I started this project, I think I was 2 hours in, 1.5 hours or 2 hours in. I know now because I'm timing my projects. I looked at it and it was gigantic. Like it was already past gauge before blocking, and lace opens up a lot while blocking. It was huge. And I don't know what, like, just switching from wood to metal made that big of a deal. So I was like, I'm not swatching again. I went down to a size 5 needle. I sat down, ripped it out, and re-knit it in the same evening, because sometimes I feel like that works for me. Like if I mess up, I'm like, whatever, if I just redo it and I'm at the same point tonight, I'll be happy. And I did. It was probably midnight when I went to sleep, but I redid it. So now I'm knitting this and I'm measuring it, and I feel like this when blocked out should meet gauge. I really hope so. I'm knitting the size medium. I'm really hoping that it comes out to be a size medium. I will keep checking my gauge as it gets bigger. I do feel like this is taking quite a long time to knit. I can't wait until I get to the point where I'm knitting in the round and I could just read the chart. Right now I'm doing this line by line, and he does both. He does charted and line by line. But for some reason, with the sleeve increases and the body increases and whatever I'm doing right now, I couldn't handle the charts. Let me tell you how many hours I'm into this project. And I did not count when I started and had to restart. So this right now is 3 hours of knitting, and that's not a lot for 3 hours, I don't feel like, but for a lacy project. But I am really enjoying this. I'm enjoying all my knits except really for the raccoon socks. So I'm really excited for this. I feel like this is going to be a great transitional piece from like summer to fall, because it still is light and airy, but it's a nice color for fall. It doesn't get cool here for a long time, so I feel like I will get a lot of wear out of this in the upcoming season. Moving on to my next whip, I am currently knitting the Lana vest by Irene, and I am knitting this in Fisherman's wool by Lion's brand in the color Natural Brown. And I don't have a lot to show here, and I'm a little bit worried that this is kind of too open of a gauge. I don't know. I'm hoping that it's going to bloom. I did swatch for it. It looks like this. I ended up going with the smaller size. I went down, I think, 2 needle sizes for this pattern. She knits this up in an Aran weight. I feel like Fisherman's wool is more like a worsted weight. So what I did is I went down 2 needle sizes, but I'm knitting, I think, the size 2, which is it's got a lot of positive ease. This pattern has a lot of positive ease. And I was in between knitting a size 1 or a 2, so I went for the size 2. I am about 3 hours into this, and then I decided to put it on hold. So Liz from Love is Fibers reached out to me about doing a knit along with vests for fall, and I was like, yeah, I love that idea. So we're going to do that this September and October, so keep your eyes out for that. I'll be posting things about it. I don't have a name or a hashtag ready. If you have any ideas, let me know. But it's like vests for fall, because we both wanted to knit vests, and I've never knit a vest. I don't own any vests. I've never owned a vest. So I thought it would be really cool for fall to knit my first vest. And also I just feel like vests make sense for fall because it's like not that cold yet. And I also want to like challenge myself to be able to style vests, because I honestly have no idea how to wear a vest. Like with my wardrobe, I don't know how to do that. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that this fall, and I'm really excited. I'm really obsessed with this pattern, the Lana vest. I have been wanting to knit it for a while. A lot of Irene Lynn's vests actually are on my radar for fall. So let me know what you think about this. Does this look good? I don't know. I feel like it's good, but it's like if you hold it up to the light, it looks kind of airy, but maybe that'll be okay. I already went down 2 needle sizes, so if that didn't work, I think I would just need to find a different yarn. But so that's that. I'm gonna put this away. Okay, next up, I actually have this in my purse. This is my Devon tote. I think that's what it's called. It's a small from Portland Leather Goods. I just filmed a whole video about like all my favorite Portland Leather Good bags that I use for knitting. This has been my go-to recently because I have so many whips, but a lot of them are not very portable right now. So I just have all of my essentials in here, plus 1 WIP, which is my August Cuff Club sock by Summer Lee. And I am knitting this up in some Twisted Ambition yarn that I bought from the Altered Stitch during the LA yarn crawl. After I filmed my Why You Should Knit socks video, I kind of felt like a little bit of imposter syndrome because I was like, I'm not knitting a pair of socks right now. And then I'm knitting the Raccoon socks, but I feel like I've been kind of not knitting on those as much because they are just like so mentally, they're color work and I don't want to do it. So I cast on a basic sock, which is, it has a little bit of a fun cuff, and that's like the whole point of the Cuff Club. I have been whizzing through this. I've had this on the needles for 6 days, and I have finished the cuff, the leg, the heel, the gusset, or no, the heel, the turn, and now I'm working on the gusset. And this yarn is absolutely gorgeous. This color combo is so joyful. I don't think I would wear this like as a garment because these are not my colors, but as a sock, I will rock these all the way. I cast these on actually during a Crafty Cinema. My local yarn store hosts crafty cinemas with my local movie theaters. It's really cool. They like leave the lights on so that you can knit. I had so much fun. And yeah, so now I have a project that I can legit just throw in my bag. Like I just raw dog this in my bag and I bring it everywhere I go. I now have a easy project. Okay, so my camera died and I don't know what is going on right now because it's 98 degrees outside, but it's really cloudy and it feels like it got so much darker. It probably looks like it's 3 hours later. It's maybe 45 minutes later. I charged my camera battery. I just feel like it's really dark in here. So I'm sorry about the lighting. I have two more projects to talk about and that's it. Right? Yeah, because I was just wrapping up talking about the August Cuff Club socks, which I don't remember what I was saying. If you haven't noticed, I have 7 WIPs and a lot of them have happened relatively recently. I feel like when I took my break from YouTube, I didn't actually knit that much. I really only finished the Ripple crop top and then the last 2 weeks I have been casting on like crazy. So the 4 projects I've casted on in the last 2 weeks. So I've had this cast on frenzy, this fall cast on frenzy because I am just so excited about fall. This has nothing to do with fall. This is a pink sock. Okay. Let me show you my next project. I am so excited about this. I was actually knitting this while I was waiting for my camera to charge because this is kind of like my favorite WIP at the moment. I think I'm 2.5 hours into this. I just cast this on this week and this is the Sadie top by Woozy by Celine as the designer. And I am knitting this in the most luxurious silk mohair yak yarn. And I bought this from an indie dyer local to me, well, semi-local, at the Wool House yarn store in Pasadena, California. And she was there and I was able to buy 2 skeins of this absolutely gorgeous green color. I'm just gonna tell you right now, my new color hyperfixation for fall is green and teal. So that's coming. This is so soft. I've never worked with mohair before. This is called Baby Yak Cloud, and the color is Tennessee Warbler, Woolly Warbler. And all of her colorways are like bird names, and I'm not a huge bird person, so I don't know what this means. It is 42% baby alpaca, 13% merino, 10% yak, and 35% silk. Okay, I misspoke. I thought this was mohair. This is baby alpaca. So it is lace weight. It is so soft. It is so soft. I'm absolutely obsessed with this. So I'm knitting this like really lacy see-through top that Celine designed. It's absolutely gorgeous and I'm so excited to have this finished item. I don't have much going on here. This is my first time working with a yarn like this. It's not mohair, but still my first time working with a yarn this delicate. It's going okay. Like it's fine. I didn't know how to read gauge on this because I just, like I said, I struggled to read any gauge that isn't stockinette. This is stockinette, but it was just like so wide, I really struggled. So I'm hoping that a size medium is gonna fit me right. I was in between small and a medium, but the size difference wasn't too much. So I was like, I'm just gonna go for medium. It was like a couple inches. I really usually am in between a size small and medium, and I never know which way to go, and I usually choose the wrong way. So we'll see. I also think this is gonna be a really great great transitional piece for going into the fall with the color and like the type of fiber, that it would be a little bit warm, you know, for when it starts to cool down a smidgen. I only have one more cast on, or one more whip for you, which is also like basically a cast on. I just cast this on this week. And this is the Artus Shawl by Natasja Hornsby. And I have been wanting to knit one of her shawls for a while. And I had this beautiful yarn that I bought in Illinois last year from Carol Sunday from Sunday Knits. And I have this cream color, and then I have the 4 contrast colors. And I thought that this was going to be perfect for this project because it's sport weight and I had the correct yardage. I don't know if this is going to work out because it's labeled as sport, but this is like a fingering weight yarn. And so I wasn't able to get gauge. The gauge was like 22 stitches per 4 inches, and I was like around 25. So I went up a needle size, I didn't re-gauge, and I was just like, whatever, I'm just gonna wing it, and then I'll check gauge and like do calculations. So I knit this much, and I was about to like block it and check the gauge, and like this was just gonna be my gauge swatch. This is about 2 hours of knitting. And I realized that I was doing the waffle stitch incorrectly, because why would I do it correctly? The slip stitches, you're supposed to slip the yarn in the back and not the front to get the waffle pattern. And I slipped the yarn in the front because I figured if I was purl slipping, I would slip with the yarn in the, I don't know. So I didn't realize it until I looked at the pictures of the pattern. And yeah, I did try to tick back and see if I could fix it with like a crochet hook. And I'm just like, it would be faster to just restart this from where I'm at. So I'm going to restart this. I'm still excited and I'm still hopeful that this project will work out with this yarn. I did try to fiddle with some of her other patterns. She has a lot of fingering weight shawl patterns, but I didn't quite have the yardage that worked for anything because I bought 4 different colors in 50 grams. I didn't have enough. A lot of hers are like 2 different colors, like 3 colors, but 2 of them are like more main, and I only have 1 skein of each of these contrast colors. So I'm really hoping that this works out because I really like this shawl and I've been wanting to do something with this yarn. I'll probably end up having, because I have 4 skeins of this, I'll end up having extra of this, but that's okay. What are your thoughts on this yarn substitution if I just made it with a fingering weight yarn? I mean, it's a shawl, so even if I'm off gauge, I feel like it'll just be smaller. My only worry is that it'll be too short, but couldn't I just keep knitting it? Like there's a mosaic pattern there, so maybe I would have to like keep that in mind, but like, I don't know, in my head, I'm like, couldn't I just keep knitting to make sure it's long enough? And also it looks huge, so maybe it would be okay if it was a couple inches shorter. Like maybe that would be fine. So I'm really hoping that this works out. I'm not really bummed out about having to restart this. Also, you did a garter tab cast on, and I feel like this is looking really wonky. It's not staying up by itself. And I did go through the projects and I did notice that a lot of the finished projects had that like weird folded over edge. So I kind of want to restart this anyways. And then with the garter tab cast on, which was a totally new thing to me, just do less. That's the Artus Shawl by Natasja Hornsby. Hi, it's Editing Natalie, and I actually ripped the shawl out that night and I recast it on and I fixed the waffle stitch and I think it's looking really good. So I have 7 whips, but 3 of these are like so baby. Like there's barely anything going on here, you know, like I've done very little knitting. So I really had no, like, this was the first one I started. This was the second, this is the third. I really had no like reason to start knitting all these things, except for that I was overwhelmed by like creativity, inspiration, and I wanted to cast on all the things. And I'm okay with that. Like I figured, like, what if I just embraced it and I can try to manage a couple more whips than what I'm used to. And it's been a good juggle. Like I feel like I work on a little bit here and there. Like, yeah, the projects are gonna go slower, but like if I'm really enjoying knitting one, it's okay to let myself indulge in that. For me, at least, starting projects and like getting the project going, swatching, casting it on can kind of like hinder me from really getting a project going. Like I'll procrastinate that part, and then once it's done, then I just knit really fast through it. So I was like, what if I have all this cast on energy? What if I just do it? What if I just cast on like all the things and just embrace it, and then get to a point in each project where I'm already familiar with the project. I'm already there. I've already figured out gauge. I've already swatched. I've already gotten past the first curse that I have where I have to like restart projects all the time. And I've working through the bugs, and I was like, let's do that. Let's do that, and let's embrace it, and let's do it. And I am thoroughly enjoying this knitting period of my life, and I'm just embracing it. But the thing is that I want to keep casting on more things. I don't know like where to stop. I really only have a couple of other things planned. So fall plans, we're going to talk about fall plans real quick. And I feel like the lighting is horrible and I'm so sorry. I am going to Rhinebeck. And I have not shared that on the channel because I was afraid if I said it that something would happen and I wouldn't be able to go. And I'm still afraid of that because I'm driving to New York from California. And when you do that, there's always a chance that something might fall through. And I have 2 very old pets and one of them is coming with us, but like we're just nervous about leaving them. I have a 15-year-old cat and a 15-year-old dog, 15 or 16. We're going to Rhinebeck and I'm so excited, and I'm going with a friend and she has gone a lot of times. So I'm excited to go with her. I'm excited to spend the weekend with her in New York. Obviously, you don't have to knit a Rhinebeck sweater, right? But I want to knit a Rhinebeck sweater and I have 2 options. So both of them I don't have yarn for, but the yarn is on the way. So the first option is to knit the Andrea Mowry Come Back Again cardigan in the North Bay Fiber color in Mallard, which like, what? Did I really buy that color? I did. Like I told you, I'm really into teal and like green right now, and I am all about embracing whatever color fixation I have and then just working it into my wardrobe. Like I was so into blue this summer and I'm like, yes, I have this new color with green and now I can introduce green into my wardrobe. North Bay Fiber had 20% off for their sale and I've always wanted to knit this cardigan, but I just struggled to like find a yarn that matched that gauge because it's such a unique yarn. So when they had the sale, I decided, you know what, I'm gonna buy this really nice North Bay Fiber Heritage Sport yarn. So I ordered that for the Come Back Again cardigan. And then next up, I'm also planning on knitting the Louder cardigan, the V-neck by the Crea Bea in Kelbor Woolen Scout in like this beautiful mint color that I can't remember the name of. Misty something. I'll put the name in because I can't remember the name of it. But I did get accepted into the Kelborn Wool affiliate program as well, but I haven't set anything up yet. Some of their yarn is coming to me, so I will get to knit something up with that and feel and play with the yarn. And I really wanted to knit like a minty color cabled cardigan. And I don't know where, I think I got this idea from a random photo project on Ravelry. I am just really excited about that too. So those are the 2 options. Like I want to knit both of them, but I just time-wise don't know if I could pull off both of them. I would like to knit the Andrea Mowry pattern because I know everyone meets on the hill, and although I'm not knitting that pattern, it would be cool to knit one of her patterns. But yeah, I'm not opposed to knitting both and wearing both of them, but I just don't want to like get too ahead of myself there. So yeah, if you're going to be at Rhinebeck, let me know. If you want to say hi to me, you can. My name is Natalie, or you can just call me Knitcheek and I will respond to that too. Other 2 things that are on my list. So I taught my mom how to knit and that's going well. Getting a lot of text messages. I want to do a buddy knit with my mom, and we want to knit the Philia cardigan by Irene Lynn, and that is an Aran weight shrug. It's like a short sleeve cardigan, like really oversized. Shrug is like the word that really comes to mind when I'm describing this piece. It's absolutely gorgeous. She wrote the pattern for, what's the brand called? Cardiff Cashmere, which we will not be doing that because I just can't afford that. It looks beautiful, but I'm not there financially. So we're going to be knitting it with something else. I have been flirting with the idea of knitting it in Good Wool Plenty, but I'm still kind of shopping around trying to find something that'll match like the gauge. And it's like a brushed yarn, but I don't know any other yarns like that. So, but that is something that my mom and I wanted to knit together. And she's still working on like a summer tee. So I don't know her timeline, but I need to get the yarn and get ready to buddy knit that with her. And then lastly, I bought yarn to crochet a dress. So I was so excited. I was like, I'm finally going to crochet the beach cover up that I've been talking about doing on the channel for over a year. I ordered the yarn and it is Friends by Hobie Cotton. Of course, I pulled the one out without the ball band. I've got 15 of them because I was planning to knit not only the dress, the top as well. It's like a cardigan, and I thought I would make a set. And I even thought about modifying the dress to be a skirt and then having like a skirt and a top as a beach cover up. And the top actually has two versions within the pattern. There's a top and there's a cardigan, and then the dress is just the dress. So that was the plan. I have all of this yarn in my cute little Delique Snap large bag, and I was going to film a vlog of like start to finish crocheting this 2-piece set. And then I don't know what I was thinking because I was so excited and I ordered it. And then the internet told me that it's fall now. It's not fall. I was like, you know what? By the time I do this, by the time I'm ready to post that video, it would no longer be summer. And would anybody want to watch that? Which, like, that's fine. I'll still make it, but maybe I don't make the vlog. I don't know. It's summer somewhere? No, it's not. But it's spring somewhere, right? Because it's winter in the southern hemisphere, so we'll be going into spring. So maybe, but I also thought maybe I'll just film the vlog and then just like save it for next year, but that seems lame. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to film the vlog or if I'm just going to do this. I still want to make this because I need to make sure that I'm still crocheting to keep that going up here, you know. And I just took a class on how to read crochet patterns because crochet charts, because I didn't know how to do that. And this is written in a crochet chart. So I want to make sure I am practicing that and keeping up on those skills. So I just don't know if I would still film the vlog version of this. I mean, it is still summer in Greece all the way in October. I could plan a trip to Greece and then film part of that. I went to Greece last year and I absolutely loved it and I can't wait to go back. I cannot afford to go back. That was probably one of my favorite trips, and the food in Greece was, I want to go back. That was everything that I have for you for podcast episode 18. Next week, I'm going to be posting a video all about organizing your whips when you have too many whips. So go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss that video, and I will see you next time. Bye.